noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious. Back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know what we're doing here, man. We're repping America, the center, and common sense, and popping for freedom. Yeah, coming soon on a t-shirt near you. Alright, so as I clean the streamers, let's get right into the meat of the matter. Name of this episode, 1 trillion subscribers special. Hey, I figured, if our government can lie about everything and just pull numbers out of their fucking decrepit asses, hey, I figured, hey, I'm decrepit and I have an ass, so let me pull a number out. Yeah, I got single digit subscribers. But I'm fighting the fight, man. I'm coming up on 2.5 years of this, man. I'm dedicated to this. I might not be for everybody, but I'm not trying to be for everybody. I'm not trying to be for everybody on one side or the other. To introduce my co-host over here, Kitty. She'll be chiming in. She represents the voices in my head. Boom. There you go. Let's kick this off. We got a little sad news to take care of. Anne Heche, unfortunately, was apparently drinking and driving and under the influence of cocaine, which I don't know how that affects your driving because I don't remember ever driving on cocaine. I've driven on meth and LSD and tons of weed and lots of alcohol. But unfortunately, she went off the road, crashed into a house, and she's dead. She was part of the Ellen DeGeneres coming out controversy that happened ages ago. And I remember back then that it was really strange, that Ellen came out and Ellen was had a girlfriend, Anne Heche here and all that. And, I didn't really think much of it. Like, I still don't. I don't really care what people's personal choices are, It shouldn't bother us. But again, as part of the center and common sense, I draw a line at trying to indoctrinate. I don't like it when things go woke, when they go over the top, Um, just a quick tangent. You can see that there's some Umbrella Academy stuff over there. I have custom Umbrella Academy gear that my daughter, designed. I have a jacket with the big logo on the back, an Italian Army jacket, and I was talking to some people at work, and I said, "Hey, do you guys watch Umbrella Academy?" And somebody said, "Oh, that's woke." And I'm like, "Wow, Umbrella Academy is woke." But you know what? It's a weird position when you hear somebody say something's woke, and you kind of know it's not, because yes, Umbrella Academy has had gay relationships, they've had lesbian relationships, and in this season we watched Eleanor Page transition into Elliot Page. Her character went from Vanya to Victor. I didn't think it was woke. My daughter put it the best. She said it would be woke if everybody on the show transitioned. And yeah, it kind of is, But anyhow, that's my tangent. Tangent over. We also lost the ability to move my pictures. We also lost Olivia Newton-John. I was never a fan of Grease. I didn't know her from that. I knew her from some of her music. I was more into it when I was younger. We had less choices. We kind of listened to popular music a little bit more, I guess. I don't know. But, another icon. I mean, not that Anne Heche was, but I mean, last week we lose Vin Scully, and this week we lose Olivia Newton-John. It's kind of sad. Speaking of losing things, apparently Biden here lost his mind because he gave me the title of my show with this. He claimed that we had 0% inflation in the month of July. So it didn't go up. Living in a fairy tale. Yeah, it rose 0%. It's up I believe it was up 9.8% the month before. It's still at 9.8, so it didn't raise. I don't understand his math, but it really pisses me off that people could just lie like this. Is this 0% inflation? Yeah, 8.5% inflation. I don't know numbers. Numbers and me are enemies. Not like Kitty. Kitty, my friend. Numbers, enemy. That's not even a frenemy. Oh boy. But when politicians have now adopted, and we're going to see this a little bit more as we go through this, there's this policy of lying. And the only person that calls him out on the lie are the people that oppose him. Okay? And that's not a way to run anything. It's not a way to run a family. It's not a way to run a company. And it's certainly not a way to run the government. Own your mistakes. You know, one thing I say all the time to people who I train, or sometimes I just say it to other workers, is I feel like every day I need to go out and earn my job. Every day I need to go out and earn my wife's love, my daughter's admiration. I need to earn those things. And the first step to that is owning your own mistakes, not shirking your responsibilities. And that's what we're seeing out of these politicians, and only the opposition calls them out. And that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. Yes, you could show me some articles where sympathetic newspapers have said, "Whoa, Biden really screwed the pooch on that one." But then they try to explain it away. They try to justify it. And the only people, again, who are saying the dude's just lying is like a Fox News. We need an impartial, fair, and balanced media. Or who else is going to alert us to these problems? There you go. If inflation was 0% in July, then why do we need the Inflation Reduction Act until we meet again? Skeletor coming strong right there with that meme. I like that. Sexy Skeletor up there. But again, you know, the answer to that question, by the way, is the Inflation Reduction Act does nothing to reduce inflation. The people who are sympathetic to Biden and the liberals and the Democrats and the far lefties that are running our country right now is to try to say, well, this will reduce inflation. But as we're going to see, when you give a rebate for electric vehicles, that's not going to help inflation. Giving more money, making things easier to purchase, or giving incentives to purchase is what drives inflation. There's nothing in this bill. This is about, at the end of the day, pushing their Green Deal, weaponizing the IRS, getting more money so they can just waste it and pilfer it. Joe Biden vetoes Inflation Reduction Act after reporting inflation to already be 0%. Yeah, that's the B, just stomping mud holes in people, man. So here's one that I never thought I'd have to talk about. Okay, I have been a fan of Pink Floyd way back into my teens, 40 plus years easily. I have all of Roger's albums. I have the original VHS poster from Roger Waters' concert, The Wall, live in Berlin in 1990, when the Berlin Wall came down. And I thought, man, this is a guy who loves freedom. Apparently, he's mad-ass crazy now. He backs Russia. He calls Biden a war criminal. I'm no fan. As you can see, you know, Armstrong and Getty, let's go Brandon. I'm not a fan of Biden's, but he ain't a war criminal. Okay? Russia went in, Ukraine resisted, and we decided to back the Ukraine for the good of the planet. Personally, I believe that is a true statement. I'd like to see what we're going to do about Taiwan, because semiconductors are almost, or maybe even more important than fuel and grain that comes out of Ukraine. I don't know. You can't eat semiconductors. But he blames Biden, backs Russia. He referred to Trump as a tyrant. Okay, we can debate that. That's debatable. And a mass murderer? A mass murderer who started no wars? See, the thing about Roger, let's let Roger have his say here. You're believing your side's propaganda, Waters told a reporter, about Taiwan and China. When, I'm not going to, Smir Konish said China was at the top of the list of high human rights offenders. Waters replied, the Chinese didn't invade Iraq and kill 1 million people in 2003. Oh my God. See, there's a difference between an opinion, Trump is a tyrant, and then there's just wrong. And he is wrong. I'm sure that in 2003, China took out 1 million people, either directly or indirectly. They sell weapons to anybody, often bad actors. North Korea, they get in bed. They got in bed as soon as we left Afghanistan. They got in bed with Afghanistan. They don't care about things. They don't care about people. This is not a matter of opinion. What Roger Waters is saying is just wrong. So before his concert, which unfortunately I've already bought tickets to, I bought them back in like 2019 for the 2020 show, but something came up and it was postponed. If you're one of those I love Pink Floyd but I can't stand Roger's politics people, you might do well to fuck off to the bar right now. Thank you and please enjoy the show. That is everything. There's two. You can see there's 2 Pink Floyd references on my board. That's how much they mean to me. Okay? And I've always considered Roger to be the heart of that. I have a hard time with Pink Floyd going on without Roger Waters. But fuck you, man. That's not how you treat people who are fans of yours, who might disagree with you. Yeah, I disagree with you. The horrific slaughter in Ukraine is Russia's fault, not Biden's fault. China are the biggest assholes on this fucking planet. And to defend them and then to say that I can fuck off, I really am considering what I'm going to do about that show. I am very disappointed by this. This is somebody who I have listened to for most of my adult life. But no, excuse me. Technically, all of my adult life. And he's just wrong. It's not a matter of opinion. I don't care that he doesn't like Trump. I don't care. Big deal. Those are your politics. I get it. When Neil Young and Tom Petty came out against Desert Storm, look it up. That was a very justified action that we took to kick an asshole out of a country that he had invaded. Those two stood up. I haven't listened to them anymore. There need to be consequences, folks. Here we go again. Snickers issues apology to China for suggesting Taiwan is an independent country. Okay, I don't give a fuck about the technicalities. If Taiwan is not an independent country, we are fucked. All right? We are. That's not hyperbole. That's where semiconductors come out of. And they are in everything we use. Everything. The monitor, my camera, my microphone. And you're right. There's none in you, kitty. Boom. So you're safe. Probably made in China, though. Sorry. Don't mean to offend you. I came across this one. This one was great. That entire nations were going to be wiped off the earth by rising sea levels if global warming was not reversed by year 2000. And that was written in 1989. So what, 11 years? And it never happened. Some of us believe that the planet is going to do what the planet is going to do. There's not a damn thing we can do to make it better or make it worse. When obviously pollution, straight up pollution, that's got to go. We don't need to fill our waterways with paint thinner and fucking straws. Not safe. England has shut down only gender clinic for minors as Biden pushes child sex changes. This is even worse than the lying. For 20 years, 20 years, Europe has been allowing transitional surgery for minors, chemical surgery or whatever you want to call it, for minors also. And they're pulling back now because they realize that it's dangerous, it's life-altering. And if you're not going to start with some sort of therapy or simply making the change socially, it's not a good idea. And what are we going to do? We're going to plow right ahead. Europe waves, hey, whoa, we got some evidence over here. This might not be a good idea. We ignore it. Great. Indiana house explosion. Okay, look this one up. This house really does explode. But I bring this up for this paragraph. in a Twitter post, Winecki, no, I forgot who he was, said the local Red Cross chapter was on scene providing food and water and would be assisting those with sheltering needs following the explosion. Because this explosion took out other houses, but the Red Cross was there. Where's BLM? Where are charities like that that don't actually do anything? The Red Cross was there. Maybe we should pump our money there, because guess what? The Red Cross helps blacks, browns, even us awful white people. Here was another one that popped up. There was a series of murders of Muslims, Pakistani Muslims, being targeted in New Mexico. And my brother, of course, the evil white people, him being on evil white people, because he's a liberal and liberals hate themselves. And I said, I don't know. I can't comment on it. I can't say who it was. I said, for all I know, it could have been another Muslim. It was an Afghani Muslim or an Afghani man. It wasn't a white guy. The story will disappear because it doesn't fit their agenda. Yeah, here you go, Gascon. Yeah. He's being recalled, and all of a sudden, signatures are being thrown out. Shockingly high rate. What's odd about that is that in March, Newsom changed the rules for the 2020 election. Who got elected during that election? Brandon? Right. So it reduced mail-in rejection rates by more than 80% under Gavin's reworking of the rules. But now they're going back to the old rules to keep Gascon. Do I like Gascon? No, I don't like Newsom. I don't like the side that they stand on. But fair has to be fair. Fair has to be fair. Larry Elder ran his mouth too much, and we weren't able to get the recall through on Newsom because people were too afraid to put Larry Elder in charge because we didn't have somebody sensible running against him. Okay? Larry Elder's icon of the right. I love the guy, but he was wrong. I can say what's wrong. This is what's wrong right now. You're using the old way. So in other words, Gavin changed the rules so more votes for Biden would be counted. More votes for him would be counted. But when he needed to, they reversed and they went back to the old way so that Gascon doesn't get recalled. And they're going to say, see, everybody wanted Gascon. No, you cheated. So the legislation that expanded the IRS and permanently solved the so-called climate change. This Democratic senator started bawling, crying. For some reason, he thinks this is a historic victory for the United States and the planet, giving Americans earning $300,000 a year's tax credits to buy an $80,000 car for just $72,500. Well, yeah, guess what? That doesn't work. $10 million is going to address racial equity issues with the Department of Agriculture. They're going to put more trees in black neighborhoods. Great. That's, well, super wonderful. But the guy who was crying claims to represent Hawaii despite being born a white man to a Canadian doctor in Michigan. He found a place where he could run, and he ran there. Doesn't even represent the state. Doesn't even come from the state. But historic. Here you go. Before the Inflation Reduction Act, after. Yep. 87,000 new IRS agents weaponized. Have fun, guys. I know you're loving it. I know the people on the left are going to love this one. But what they forget is that after you go through all the conservative companies and you target all the conservative celebrities, after they go after Kevin Sorbo or Tim Allen or Clint Eastwood, right? Then there's a lot. I know I'm forgetting people. Rob Schneider. Okay, Rob Schneider pops out. But after they're done with those people, they're going to turn their attentions on you. That's what they're going to do. You appoint them, and they're loyal to you. That's what we're going to see. A weaponization of the IRS. They don't like what you're saying? Audit. You run against them? Audit. We've seen it with the FBI, so why should this be any different? To me, this is what starts the war. 80 billion to the IRS, as Nick here's pointing out. The Russian military spent 65 billion on their military. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, there's Kevin Sorbo. No new Border Patrol agents. You notice that? No new cops. No, 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 no. No security guards for schools. No, no. IRS. They want more money. They want to spend more money to get you locked into government spending, and you can't vote against them because they're the ones signing your welfare check. That's their end result. Why not do better things with the money? Why just get more money? For what? More rebates that apply to cars that don't exist? More chargers for cars that aren't being driven there? Yeah, and here's another great example here. Boebert comes out and basically says, their job description tells them that they'll be required to carry a firearm. That sounds like a pretty scary audit. Excessive taxation is theft. You're using the power of the federal government for armed robbery on the taxpayers. So, a Democrat shoots back. The idea that they are armed, I know that Ms. Boebert would like everybody to be armed, but that's not what IRS agents do. I would implore my Republican colleagues to cut out the scare tactics. Quit making things up. Posted job opening for special agents, the IRS specifically said that they would need to carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary. After sparking controversy, they removed the deadly force part. Who was lying in that statement? The Democrat. Who's calling him out on it? Fox News. Oh, great. So let's look at the IRS's little history with guns really quick here. Right now, they only have 78,000 employees. So they're looking to double that for whatever reason. They've got machine guns, folks. 15 fully automatic firearms. See, that's a clever way of disguising the fact that they have machine guns. Or, at the very least, true assault weapons. Still sort of machine guns. I want to know about the 4 revolvers. I'd love to know what they are. I would love to know what they are, because it's just odd that they mention that. The armed agents are not properly trained, and they don't keep up on it, because they're not supposed to be carrying firearms. They're supposed to be doing audits. I don't understand why the IRS needs guns. Why don't they call on local law enforcement to help with enforcement of things, or the Department of Justice? I don't know. They've had more discharges than intended discharges. That's kind of scary. It's day one of the war, folks. You might not see it, but the elite are taking over. At the end of the day, the elitists are not going to care that you support Ukraine or gay rights or any of that shit. If you're not one of them, you're against them, and you will be fucked over. Yeah, here we go. Just real quick. Tax credits for an electric vehicle that doesn't exist, because you can't have batteries made mostly in China. And China controls 76% of the market. Good luck, guys. There you go. 40%. It doesn't qualify. There you go. Here you go, right here. Let's look at this really quick about the IRS. From 2010 to 2021, a majority of additional taxes IRS recommended from audits came from taxpayers with incomes below $200,000. So when they say that it's not going to raise taxes on people who make less than $400,000, they're lying, because we already have statistical evidence that they go after the smaller guys, assuming, I guess, that rich people, big corporations, have good accountants. Yeah. We're just skipping a few things right here. So the Democrats like to pretend that they are the party of the middle and working class, and the Biden administration has continued to find ways to extract wealth from the middle and working class. In the American Rescue Plan, they raised the reporting threshold for any sort of hobby site you might have, like eBay, down to $600. You must report down to $600. Because they want their cut. And right now, in amongst these still exorbitant gas prices, rising inflation, rising housing costs. They want to nickel and dime the smallest people on the tax ladder. So don't believe their lies. They're coming after you. They'll wait until Biden's out of office, which is going to happen real soon, or, well, a couple years. And then the IRS is just going to open the floodgates. That's what they're going to do. It took the FBI. So, yeah, the big story was the Mar-a-Lago raid. UFC fighter right here, George Masvidal. Wisdom comes from strange corners of the planet. It took the FBI to raid a former president to finally get a name associated with the Epstein saga, and it ends up being the judge that signed the warrant. Yeah. Yeah. This dude right here, who doesn't like Trump. Yeah, the FBI has been added to the secret police list here. Yeah. Very appropriate because they're the ones who committed the raid. And as you can see, that's what Trump's under fire by right now, which, pretty accurate. I don't know that he's Captain America. I just wish he wasn't such an asshole sometimes, Somebody close to me told me that the only reason they voted for Biden was because Trump was an asshole. And it just saddens me. I wish he had handled himself differently. But anyhow. Yeah, here they come. The raid on Mar-a-Lago, look at that. The Justice Department. Under the direction of the Democrats. Because he's Donald Trump, the candidate right now. This is what they do to their opposition. And, either the Republicans are going to have to start doing it more often, or we're just going to have to end it all together. And I think ending it all together is the way to go. That one of the arguments is that nobody's above the law. And I would agree with that. But look at some of the other things that are out there. China and their fentanyl, China spying, the Hunter and Biden family, Hillary Clinton, the Pelosi's, Swalwell, voter fraud. They don't even have Epstein on there. Hillary had a server that she destroyed rather than turn it over. Where's the outrage? Where's the FBI raid for that? Hunter may be selling all and Swalwell, who God only knows what they're selling, what they're giving up. China and the fentanyl because of the border. Just flowing across. 100,000 people died from fentanyl alone last year. The Pelosi's. Oh, yeah, that's not insider. Again, fair is fair. Nobody's above the law, so let's look at these things. And especially Epstein. You have predators out there who are preying on underage kids for sex. It says a lot about their character because they were preying and they were paying for it. Okay? It wasn't like oops, I thought she was 18 type thing. No, they went looking for it. And Epstein provided it. And he's dead. Maxwell's in jail. And we still don't know. And it makes you think that, hey, obviously the people on that list must be, what? Probably liberals. Because it seems like the DOJ, the FBI, and our government lives to serve one side and not the other. It's not a good way to run a country. That is a good way to start a revolution. Hunter Biden breathes sigh of relief as FBI raid team passes by his house on way to Mar-a-Lago. Illegal guns, possible underage sex, drug use. Come on, man. He has facilitated people meeting with Biden in the White House. Come on. Can we just have fine. You want to go get your documents for Trump? Fine. But let's find out what this creepazoid has been up to. I don't say that because I'm like, oh, my side. I say it at the beginning here all the time. What? I'm in the center. I admit the faults. I stand against the Republicans on a lot of things. I started this entire channel because I know that it is ridiculous to have a two-party system, especially when they're sort of extremists. The answers are, I can't move my hands right. Oh, the answers are in the middle. But we don't get to the middle if it's a one-sided fight. If the odds are stacked against the middle. I just want to know what's up with Hunter. I want a full investigation. I want to be confident in the fact that Pelosi isn't cheating the system. I want to make sure that the Bidens have not sold out to China in some way. I want the Chinese to stop sending fucking fentanyl here and just allowing it to stream across the border because the Democrats can't fucking contain the border, don't want to contain the border. Okay. We're going to talk about electric recycle. Gascon. This is another tactic of the liberals here. He wants to close public hearings because of the threat of harm. But I bring this up because he has appointed people. I forgot where he appointed this person, black now. But she made racist, oh God. She has made racist and inflammatory comments, and yet she is appointed by Gascon, the top cop in LA. So that's what they call him, the top cop, right? Okay. Referred to the police as barbarians. She referred to the LAPD as an occupying army. She has said that racial strife should be resolved by violence, and she referred to the United States as a shithole country where people are murdered by a militarized police force. And now she's saying that, oh, there she is. She's the spokeswoman. She's saying that she's receiving hate. Wow. You go on a public forum and you say that America is a shithole run by a militarized police force and people give you hate. Huh. Okay. Maybe I should take off my clothes, run down the street, and get mad when somebody tells me to put on some pants. Man, speaking of people, the Pelosi's, do they need to be investigated? I don't know. But according to her, China, one of the freest societies in the world. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Isn't that great? We know this to not be true. Ask the Uyghurs. They're slaves. This is a country, China is a country that openly uses slave labor. You can say, but kid, there are slaves in America. Yes, there are slaves here in America. And they are brought in by illegal cartels. It is illegal to have a slave in the United States. We, as a country, do not support nor use slavery as a nation. China does, but they're one of the freest societies in the world, according to Pelosi. I love this picture of her. So I put that up. Fucking whack jobs. I mean, can't you stand up to your own? I mean, look, I don't know who's watching this, but if you're hate watching this or something, and you're on the left and you're like, oh, you know, well, whatever. I lost my train of thought there for a second. You have heard me rail against anti-abortion laws in states. Okay? I'm pro-choice all the way. Okay? When are you guys going to call these people out on this shit? Pelosi says backs China? Pelosi tells you that millionaires and billionaires and corporations are ruining your lives. Meanwhile, she's feeding her husband insider information so she can get rich. These people are getting rich off their lies. I mean, I have respect for somebody who's from the conservative party who says, I'm going to ban abortions. Okay, but that's what your party said you were going to do. These people, the Democrats, lie. They say they're for the people down here, but all they're doing is getting themselves up here. And they don't give a shit. Fair's fair. Nobody's above the law. Where's a report on that? You show me a report that shows that her husband is not using insider information to buy stocks. You show me that. You'll show me how this is true. Adams blames Texas for New York shelter problems. New York was busting at the seams. Rents were skyrocketing. Evictions accelerated. And a new mandate from Adams himself pushed homeless people out of the subway system where they didn't belong and off the streets where they don't belong. But they had to be put somewhere. Now all the migrants come and they've got no room. That's their fault. It's the Democrats' fault. Greg Abbott is not allowing people to come across the border. Greg Abbott is not holding the door going, come on, underlay, underlay. He's not the one doing that. Okay? It is unfair of us as a nation to put an undue burden on a state for a federal problem. Those are federal borders. Texas's northern border is Texas's responsibility. But their southern border borders another country. That is a federal issue. And more should be done to stem that flow. Because at the end of the day, when we have millions and millions and millions of illegal aliens here who are not legally allowed to work or do anything really, how are they going to support themselves? How many are going to turn to crime? How many are going to turn to running scams? Small pilfering here and there. How many? Because that's what we're seeing with the drug addicts. As the drug addicts on the streets rose, property crime rose. Rose to the point where people don't even bother reporting break-ins to their cars because they know nobody's going to do anything. The Adams here. It's unimaginable what the governor of Texas has done. How? Texas didn't let them in. Texas bust them somewhere. Biden was flying them around. Oh, you remember that? When Biden was putting them on planes and taking them to places? Huh. Now, come on. Fair is fair. Call them out on it. If you are a supporter of a man like Adams, call him out on this nonsense. He's lying, and it's a bad plan to begin with. He has no plan. We never should have let these people just stream across the border. Just admit it. Just admit it, because that's what they did. That's what they do. They just lie. And the sycophants in their corners are so desperate to believe the lies, they believe the lies. They believe them. What? Okay, the FBI went to Mar-a-Lago. They wanted to get some documents. Nah, okay, whatever. Probably a better way of doing it, but no, they wanted to smear the president. All right. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's God. But I'm also aware of the fact that they already took a lot of documents out of there. There was nothing in there. They used the documents as an excuse. And you have to remember that when we're talking about the lengths that the Democrats or the left have gone to, the FBI, as part of the Russian collusion scam, as part of the Steele dossier scam, faked evidence to get FISA warrants so they could spy on Trump. They lied. The cops in the Breonna Taylor case lied. You want to string them up, but you don't want to string up the people who lied to get a warrant so that they could spy on a presidential candidate. Dude, when it comes home to roost, man, it's going to be too late. We're skipping a few things here because I was just speaking about this, Here are some of the hoaxes that we've seen, the Russian collusion, the Steele dossier, the Russia paying bounty on U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, Trump calling neo-Nazis fine people. January 6th was an insurrection to overthrow the government. Trump tried to grab the steering wheel. Hunter's laptop was misinformation. There you go. Look at that list of 11 things, and those are all things that so-called experts and newspapers and news outlets signed off on, went along with. Right before the election, we knew that Hunter Biden was a fucking scumbag, and they buried it with the help of places like Twitter and Facebook. We know these things. Take this list. If you do not look, it's not about, they did mean things to Trump, who I love. Didn't vote for him the first time around. Didn't like him as a person. Still don't like him as a person. You've already heard me on this very video saying I wish he could have handled himself differently. He had some great ideas. He had some great, goals. He delivered the message poorly. This is about one party in particular, seemingly, because we haven't heard these kind of things. Nobody did this about Hillary, okay? Hillary had a server. Hillary was part of Benghazi. Hillary was part of the collusion story. We cannot run a successful country when we allow one political party to lie, cheat, and steal. And that's what they're doing. And now, for some reason, we no longer have a neutral journalist out there. We only have an extreme left, an extreme right, very little in the middle. I know, because I'm standing here alone in a forest. The FBI raid on these are the best of the week. Sorry about that. FBI raid on Melania's closet was justified, says Merrick Garland, wearing gorgeous new evening gown and sun hat. Oh, that's great. We were talking earlier about Umbrella Academy being woke over there. A state of awareness only achieved by those dumb enough to find injustice in everything except their own behavior. Yeah. You know, we mentioned Anne Heche, and I was talking about all the things I've driven on. I had to wake up to my own negative behavior. I had to check myself into a rehab, but, you know, take responsibility. I have a hashtag that I use every now and then called defund your own shitty thoughts. I'm white. I'm not the problem. I'm not holding anybody down. I don't discriminate. And you know how I know I don't discriminate? Because I've been in positions of training new technicians in various forms of fire prevention. I've had male, female. I've had all colors. And I work with all colors. I am a support guy. So I need to drop everything and go help people sometimes. I don't care who they are. I don't care. They need my help, I help them. Oh. But I'm not woke. And why am I not woke? Because I am not dumb enough to find injustice in everything. When I see injustice, I try to stomp it out. Where I can, I will. I just don't see it everywhere. I think there's people out there making a lot of money off of saying that was injustice. FBI to begin raiding homes of those who criticize FBI raid. Yeah. Not far from the truth, eh, B? Hey, Kitty knows. Kim Kardashian breaks up with Pete Davidson after she finally gets around to watching SNL. Yeah, again, SNL, whatever. You know, I'm not going to say it was better in my day. I've watched old episodes, but it was more centered. That's the big complaint, I would say. Elon Musk retweeting some fire right here. When the country that revolted over taxes hires 87,000 new IRS agents. Yeah. Like I said, man, I think day one of the revolution has begun. We just don't know yet. This is the Stamp Act. If you don't know, Stamp Act was not very widely accepted here in the United States. And, you know, the Stamp Act is often said that that's what started the American Revolutionary War, even though by the time the American Revolutionary War started, the Stamp Act had already been revoked. And, you know, to some degree, Britain had spent a lot of money, you know, securing our sovereignty from the French. But whatever. That's way off on a tangent. But, yeah. Kind of reminds me of the thing. Found this one. This is not designed to be offensive in any way to anybody. And if you take it that way, please fucking leave, okay? Because that's not center, that's not common sense, okay? But I did find this pretty fucking hilarious. LGBTQ plus. Look what you can make that stand for. Let's go, Brandon. Trump, Q, and the cross. And it is a good reminder, though, of the fact that politics makes strange bedfellows. So I would not be surprised if that crowd right there is conspiring with the far lefties to make sure that the middle never exists. Because I'm telling you right now, man, if you get true centralists in the government, all the rhinos and all the hippies, they're all going to fucking hate it. Because their pet projects won't just get greenlit because it sounds good. They'll have to put it on paper. Put it on paper, prove the case, prove why we need to do this. That's all I'm really asking out of politicians, journalists, all these people. Gamers eagerly await the release of Call of Duty IRS auditor. To restore trust with Americans, FBI names new director Burt Macklin. It's right over there somewhere in the P. Yeah, there you go, Mouse Rat. I love Parks and Rec. What a great reference. 4D chess. Trump saves his cache of classified documents from FBI confiscation by labeling them Epstein's client list. Yeah, you know what's funny? That would actually work. FBI raided Mar-a-Lago after tip that parents were protesting a school board meeting there. Parents are concerned with what their kids are being taught. It's not that people who oppose critical race theory want to just like go back to the old days. It's a matter of, look, you're not teaching Martin Luther King. You're not teaching about overcoming. You're teaching about victimization and blame. Okay? You can't go around telling a little black child, oh, you're gonna suck at life because you're black, and telling a little white kid, hey, you're the reason why. There's no way to run a society, man. If we don't come together, but again, if we come together, blacks, whites, browns, yellows, let's put all our hands in there. Gays, trans, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, Muslims, Christians, Jews. We all come together and demand more of our government. How is Pelosi going to make money? How would a guy that says, would Biden be there? Would Harris be there? We wouldn't have needed to fucking elect Trump if we had been a more unified society. That's the part of the game that I really think the left and the right conspire against us. Our government is not just left or right. It's left and right. And how do I know this? Crap like this. Republicans are rallying around Trump following the FBI raid. That's good news for Biden. That's the evidence. Okay, that's what I'm presenting as my evidence of a conspiracy between the ruling elite of this country on both sides. Biden sends the FBI to raid Trump's compound with a flimsy enough excuse that enrages the right who fall in line behind Trump, and that's what they want. They've beat Trump before with lame-ass Biden. They feel they can do it again. The Republicans go along with it because, again, if it's Trump, they just hide. They say, that's not Republican, that's Trump. So then they can get away with what they're trying to get away with, but still, again, keeping everybody in their corners, nobody coming to the middle, which is their end goal. And that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. They're afraid of the center. Right, left are afraid of the center. And that's why they allow this kind of bullshit. That's why they selectively go after people. That's why we don't see Epstein's list. That's why there was no real investigation into what Hillary did with a secured server. Because they know exactly how much shit they can pull without toppling the tower. These are S-class Jenga players. And we need to stop being the blocks. What do you say, kitty? Stop being the blocks. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Copious, doubly out. Peace, y'all. Love ya. $1 bills, y'all. Must be the money.